to live a little closer to nature. It's living closer to the environment, the context in which your organism evolved. So it scratches all these itches that otherwise go unscratched, and in the background of one's mind can make you deeply unhappy, deeply unsatisfied. To move through the verdant green landscape, to use your muscles, to sweat, to go hungry and then eat and then feast. These are all things that we were evolved to do. And while that context is long gone and it's probably never coming back, there's things we can do in the modern age to approximate those things. Just gorgeous. It's like it holds the sunset in its wings. Amazing. I'd guess that this has just emerged from a chrysalis in the early morning, probably hanging under this deck, and it's waiting for the sun to hit its wings, which have just been filled with fluid, and the chitin of its exoskeleton is probably still hardening. So it's delicate, too delicate to fly right now. That's my guess anyway. Could be quite wrong about all of that. Lovely. You can see the compound eye and its coiled up proboscis, a little ring just below its eye. That's can extend out to dip into flowers for nectar. If you look very closely, you can see the scales on its wings. Lepidoptera, the orders of the modiflies and buths, the butterflies and moths. The scale wings. It's the dust that comes onto your fingers if you touch a moth. It's the scales from their wings. Very delicate, beautiful creatures. Charismatic, charming to the nth degree. I often find myself doing things that I don't generally recommend people do. Not for their sake, but for the sake of other creatures. Like feeding wildlife, like touching wildlife. Thing is, if you are careful, if you are gentle, it can be quite a moving experience to interact closely with wildlife. But if you're clumsy and brutish, it can be a harm. So like most rules, there are exceptions. If you arrive at the traffic light, the dead of night, and you can see that there's nobody 4 kilometers in any direction on the road, do you sit in your car and wait for it to run through its whole cycle, idling away? I certainly don't, and I don't think anyone should. But it's a slippery slope, and one has to make those kinds of decisions with a lot of responsibility. One has to have understanding for why that rule's in place. It comes down to judgment, I suppose. And I guess none of us is a good judge of how good a judge we are.